Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about the best ways to handle an argument. So I'm sure you found yourself in the situation a lot of times where you find yourself trying to put your point of view across to the other person, and same goes for the other person. You're being convinced about his point of view. So in my opinion, in my experience, the only way to win an argument is to avoid it. The only way to win an argument is to avoid it. Why? So, I found that when I am engaged in an argument with another person, or if there's a misunderstanding, or we both are just trying to get our points of view across, the more I try to put my opinion across, the more I try to convince my opponent of my opinion, the more convinced I get about my opinion, and so does he. The more he tries to put his point across, the more convinced he gets about his opinion. So when you track back to what the point of this conversation, what was the point of this argument, for both of you to convince each other about your points of view. But you haven't received his point of view, neither has he received your point of view, and it usually ends up in a lot of bad energy and bad vibrations. So the only way to win an argument is to avoid the whole thing. Now, if you do insist on carrying the argument along and trying to put your point of view towards the other person, and you do manage to drill his argument full of holes, and at the end of it you seem to have come out victorious in that argument, whatever the premise of the argument may be. At the end of it, you have managed to get your point of view across in a stronger way. What's going to happen? What's going to happen is you are walking away with a sense of empowerment that yes, the point of view that I have identified my mind with has been pushed forth into, I've shoved it down the other person's throat. You walked off. Now what about your opponent? He has been made feel inferior. He has been induced with a sense of inferiority, and you have reduced his sense of self-worth. So take the case of friends. If this happens among friends and person A and person B are arguing, and person A manages to shove his point of view down person B's throat, person B is going to walk away. Person A is going to walk away happily. Person B is going to walk away with a temporary sense, not a temporary sense, a sense of inferiority and a reduced sense of self-worth. So this, the next time they both meet, the argument must have been forgotten. But what's happened to person B is he has internalized this defeat. He has internalized the sense of inferiority. He's internalized the sense of this reduced sense of self-worth. Now what person B's motive is going to be is to find a situation where he can project the same feelings onto person A, so that now he feels empowered and he knows that he's made person A feel inferior. Now, is this what you want friendship to be like? Is this what you want to constantly be involved in, a one-up game with your friends? Okay, he's one-up me, so I'm going to one-up him, so I'm going to one-up him, he's going to one-up me again, and I'm going to one-up him again. So this is a vicious cycle. The only way to end this vicious cycle is to just cut it at its base. And where does the base start? When you feel another person puts a point of view across that you don't agree with, or you know that in the light of truth it is not true at all, in the light of facts it's not true at all, and you feel that it is your duty to tell this person that he is wrong, stop. Ignore your first instinct. Your first instinct is to get your point across. Your first instinct is to convince the other person that the point of view that you have identified yourself with is the only point of view there is. You know what is right. Yourself knows what is right. Let it stay there. You really don't need to convince the other person that what you think about his particular statement is the only thing that there is. As I've implemented this, and I found that it's always yielded in good energies. The minute or anytime I hear something that I don't completely agree with, I don't say anything, because I know I don't agree with it. I don't feel the need to convince the other person that I don't agree with it. My sense of self-worth does not depend on me convincing the other person that I hold a different point of view. A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. I hope this is resourceful to you. I hope this will, implementing this will further yield better relationships in your life. And if you find this information useful, do like the video, subscribe, and I will definitely like to hear your comments on my opinion. Peace.